Hi folks, this is Jackie Bushman. Thanks so much for being a Buckmaster member. Now sit back and enjoy the best of the Buckmasters television shows from 1992 in this special video for you renewing members.
The Buckmasters Whitetail magazine with Jackie Bushman is brought to you by your local Yamaha dealer, where you will find the most complete line of four-wheel all-terrain vehicles. Yamaha, go your own way. Walmart, always the low price. Always. Liberty Rugged Outdoor Gear, worth hunting for. The leader in outdoor apparel. Bill Jordan's Realtree, America's most versatile camo pattern. Wellington Outdoors, the winning combination of hunting scents and lures. Nikon Sport Optics, you'll never see things quite the same again. Snow Seal, makers of UV Killer and Sport Wash. PSE, makers of the finest bow hunting equipment in the world. And by Easton, nothing else comes close.
On our first stop, I'll meet up with Buckmasters magazine editor Russell Thornberry. We'll try our luck bow hunting on the Big Rack Ranch near Dallas, Texas.
Morning, Robert.
Morning, Russell.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Jackie Bushman, Robert
Hello,
Williams.
How you doing?
All right,
Good
Jackie.
to see you.
Good to meet you.
Appreciate the invitation. Old Russ has told me a lot about your ranch, and I'm looking forward to it, especially getting a chance to bow hunt it.
We've been out here before, Robert, showing me around, but it's been a couple of weeks. Where do you think we'd be most likely to set up right now?
Down in the little wheat mat I just planted back in there where the pin oaks are real thick. There's a lot of acorns are falling, lots of them falling. I've seen some big bucks back there.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Some of the good ones back there eating those acorns, ready to get fat for the rut.
Well, we'll go set up some stands back there, and
Hey, I got to shoot my bow a little bit first.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we should do that.
All right, well, let us go shoot the bow. We're going to let you get back to work, but we appreciate the invitation. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Good
to meet
see you again, Robert. We'll see you later this afternoon.
Okay.
Okay. Russ, we do so much traveling around the country, whether we're rifle hunting or bow hunting. And I think it's always real critical for everybody to make sure they check their equipment.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I'm getting all my broadheads. One little tip, you showed me is making sure you spin your arrows and stuff just to making sure they're straight. No telling what can happen, especially if you're traveling and hunting or even, if you're practicing at home.
That's
so
right.
Just spin your arrow and make sure it turns.
Well, that turns right straight on its axis, and if it doesn't, you're guaranteed a veering arrow flight. So, I mean, that's just real critical with every arrow.
That's just common sense of your equipment.
That's right.
Just knowing your equipment.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got two bows here, and I just want to tune this other one up. I want to take a few shots.
Okay.
I've been trying a few new releases here, and that's something that's, it just flabbergasted me is how many different releases are, and there's just different releases for different people. So I've kind of been enjoying the ones with the wrist, that you put on the wrist so you can pull. But also I want to try some other ones. So let's take a few shots, and then that way, if I can get this bow tuned in, then we'll be ready to go on down and place our stands.
I'm ready.
Russ, let me take a few shots here. Like I said, I got two bows. I just want to tune this one in. You see any difference in my equipment this year?
Yeah, it's left-handed finally.
Left-handed, that's right. I've shot right-handed for so many years, and I've had a lot of luck, 20 yards and under, but when I went to camp when I was a kid, that's all they had was right-handed bows. So I had to shoot right-handed and left-eyed for years. So.
I know we've been marveling at how you can shoot wrong-handed and cross-eyed and never hit anything, but amazingly you have.
Such talent.
That's
Such talent.
Show me some talent on that deer target. Ooh. Perfect shot, bud.
I think we're ready. I told you, left hand is a charm.
Oh, southpaw.
Oh, southpaw. All right, well, let's get that arrow right there, and let's go down and place our stands.
There he is. Is it warm enough for you?
Ooh.
I'm not used to hunting in 90-degree weather, buddy. I'm usually 40 below.
It is warm today, I'm telling you. Oh, this is heaven to me.
Well, it looks pretty spooky to me. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, boy, he's got a lot of acorn trees right here, a lot of water oaks and willow oaks. Let's get off and do a little scouting. And like I said, I got two stands here. We got some more at the barn, so we'll put these up and we'll go back and get some more.
You have to show me what we're looking for in this country.
All right. Russ, this looks like a pretty major trail here, and right here you'll notice another intersection trail. Oh, some mighty deery.
Look at this.
Yeah.
That's what is that? Pecans to feed all the deer in North Texas.
Yeah, buddy.
What a tree.
Yeah, you can see where they've been eating right here on the ground.
Yeah.
Russ, I see some pecans here. There are also some acorn trees around here also. Yeah.
Boy, this is a trap, Jackie.
This tree right here would be probably a perfect place to put the fixed position stand. Gives you about a 10 or 15 yard shot at the most if they're coming right where the trails are intersecting.
They got to be feeding under here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
All right, well, that'll be one stand right there. And let's ease on up here. And let's see if we can see some other places to put a stand.
Sure.
Russ, it's obvious right here with all the acorns and the droppings that, and with the rub right there on the tree, we're not only where the deer are, but also where the bucks are.
What are these? What kind of acorns? This is all
These
new
are what,
stuff to read.
like I said, I feel down home here because this is what's called a water oak or willow oak. Some people call them pin oaks. And when they start dropping, I tell you, the deer, they really get after them.
They really like them, huh?
Right. There's no white oaks here that we've seen, but this acorn right here is dropping at the time. So this has so much to do with placing your stand. And we're going to move up here and see if we can find what I call the perfect tree, because that's what every deer hunter looks for and they build confidence in. And this right here,
we got to be close.
I know, you got the intersecting trails, you got a wheat field here. Boy, there's more elements here. I just hope the deer come in here as much as the sign says they're here.
Well, I mean, something's been coming in here that looks awful lot like deer, so
Right.
I'd say we're home free.
And bucks, too. Yeah. Let's walk up here and see if we can find the tree we're talking about. Russ, one of these trees might work. Pretty close to the, where we were finding the rub and the major trail right there. And those droppings.
It's incredible, man.
I feel at home right here.
Well, this is all new.
When people think of Texas, they think of the brush country. This being closed out, this is all with the acorns, and the acorns are dropping right now. And like I said, we're seeing deer sign, but most of all, we're seeing buck sign with all these buck rubs in here.
Yeah, look, there's just deer sign all over this country. I've never hunted in acorns, and this is all new. 23 years Alberta. This is so different, but you're right. I mean, if a guy can't see deer here, he might as well pack up his bow and quit.
Well, the thing is, I call it what's called the perfect tree. In every location when you're doing your scouting, you just build your confidence in saying that's the tree. And if you'll look for that tree out there, that's what always makes it tick. And I feel like this might be the lucky tree for either you or me. And we've got 4 different locations, so let's go back.
I want to hunt, man. I can't stand it. Let's get those stands up.
Let's get those stands up.
There's a new idea in ATVs, the revolutionary Yamaha Timberwolf. The Timberwolf has built-in cargo beds that resist dents and rust. With a rugged steel subframe, they carry a serious load. But when the work is done, Timberwolf loves to have fun. Long travel suspension tackles rough stuff for a real sport ride. And Timberwolf has Yamaha quality at a great price.
Take a tip from the old Buckmaster. Get down and see all the new Yamaha ATVs at your local dealer today.
After applying a cover scent, Jackie and Russ go to their stands for the first day of hunting here on the Big Rack Ranch. The temperature is well into the 80s, and the Texas-sized mosquitoes were beginning to make their presence felt. Suddenly, a huge buck passes by Jackie through some thick brush. The buck does not offer Jackie a clean shot. Then a nice 10-point comes right up under Jackie. But unfortunately, this buck did not present a good shot for Jackie.
Hey.
Well, if I was in the doe business, I'd be through hunting, but he had two of them right under my stand. I could have dropped acorn on their head. See anything?
Oh, man. This bow hunting's getting frustrating.
Don't tell me you missed. It's not a shirt tail deal.
I saw probably the biggest whitetail I've ever seen on hoof. He was back in the thicket right there. I mean, I don't know. He had looked like an 8 frame, and he had sticker points going everywhere. I mean, he looked like an Alberta-looking buck. That's how big and massive. I've never.
How, like right there?
I'm talking about 20 yards back in the thicket right there with some other bucks. He must be the one hitting that tree. And then, probably, you know, an hour later or something, here comes another nice, you know, 10-point. And he looked pretty doggone good, but he wasn't even in the league of this other deer right here. And I mean, I didn't shoot him. I just was so, I was so amazed by this other deer. And this first day, I'm not moving out of this tree. If I could get that deer right there, that would be my dream come true with a bow and arrow.
Man.
Unbelievable. But that just goes to show you.
There's room for 2 in this tree?
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't give this tree up for nothing.
Well, it's the first day, man. It's never over till it's over.
I think they're going to do a soap opera called The Saga of the Buckmaster.
The second day, Jackie decides to hunt from the same stand since he saw 2 very good bucks there the day before. A small 8-pointer paid Jackie a visit, but he just wasn't what Jackie was looking for, especially after seeing the huge buck the day before from that stand. Meanwhile, Russ, who is hunting a few hundred yards away from Jackie, has some movement in the brush in front of him.
What? No.
Yes, sir. 10 points.
You dog. Good buck?
Oh, man, I'm talking good. You gotta
How big?
come. Huh?
How big?
I mean, 10 points,
No.
20 inches wide. Dream deer, man, dream.
I had a young 8-pointer right under me. He just wasn't quite big enough.
Well, come and take a look at this one. He's enough.
I got to see this one. Where'd you, is he down on that?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is, right there.
Right there.
Golly.
I'm telling
Boy,
you.
I can see the horns from here, Russ.
So could I. I mean, it's just a
Look at that deer
beautiful-
right there.
You won't see a more symmetrical whitetail deer if you live to be 100 years
That
old.
is a beautiful buck right there, Russ. Good gracious, look at the height on him.
I do. Woo.
Russ, what do you think this buck right here will score?
Well, I believe he'll make 150 clean. I mean, there's no deductions, and when I was waiting for you, I was sitting there doing a little calculating, and I believe he'll make 150 points, Jack.
That's a great 10-pointer. Now, is this one of your better bucks you taking with a bow?
Not better, it's best. That's my all-time best whitetail
Is it
buck
really?
with a bow, you bet.
Congratulations. I always like to be with a man when he gets his best.
That's right, me too.
Well, I tell you what, you know, when we were setting both our stands up and just looking at the acorns and looking at the buck rubs and all the droppings, it was
Well, they're in there,
it's a
aren't
great
they?
area. Great area.
Gee.
And it just goes to show that if you do your scouting, and it'll pay off. I tell you what, Robert is going to love to see this buck right here.
Well, I imagine Robert has seen this buck, and he's seen, you know, so many good bucks on this ranch, and, you know, I mean, this is a outstanding career high for me with a bow and arrow, but I promise you on this ranch, there's some deer that make this look like a cub.
Well, you know, I had that little 8-pointer under me all morning. I knew he was just a first-year deer, so I was just looking at the genes on him, so I know he's going to be a big boy.
The genetics, well, I don't know how old this deer is. I haven't really looked at his teeth, but I wouldn't imagine he's over 3 years old. I mean, I would imagine this is a 3.5-year-old buck. And I mean, I hate to say it, but we're probably looking at a potential record, I mean, Boone and Crockett record buck. I mean, he makes Pope and Young with lots to spare, but I think these deer in here, the genetics are so strong, I believe a deer like that will make Boone and Crockett in this 5.5 years once he gets grown.
Let's get him on back to the house.
Okay.
All right.
Now let's travel to Michigan. I'll be bow hunting and rifle hunting this one-of-a-kind deer management area called the Sanctuary.
This is the first time the Buckmasters Whitetail magazine has visited the beautiful state of Michigan. Tucked away in the rolling hills near Stanwood, one of the most impressive hunting camps exists, the Sanctuary. The Sanctuary was formed with one thing in mind, the trophy hunter. Many bucks taken at the Sanctuary each year score well over 170 Boone and Crockett points and have body weights in excess of 300 pounds. The area is prime deer habitat, consisting of heavy hardwoods, swamps, creek bottoms, and thickets. That, along with the Sanctuary's extensive management practices, provide the deer hunter with an exceptional opportunity at the buck of a lifetime. Stressing the 3 basic factors for a healthy deer herd, age, genetics, and nutrition, the Sanctuary is working toward a 1 buck to 1 doe ratio.
Well, Skipper, this being my first time to Michigan in the Sanctuary, I'm excited because I've never been up here to test my skills on these northern whitetails. Tell me a little bit about your management program because I've heard so much about it.
Well, we're working on 2,500 acres of hardwood country / creek bottoms and swamps. And to get big trophy whitetail deer, you've got to have 3 components. One is nutrition, the other is age, and the last being the genetics. The genetics are here. All we're doing is working with the nutrition end of it and the age and allowing these big old bucks to get to their prime.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of these, and you talk about genetics, and that has so much to do with it. And just I've noticed some of the non-typicals here, just the mass on these deer up here, just amazing.
Well, our trophy bucks are in that 5.5-year age class. Many go well beyond that, like this old boy here that we never even found him until one of the guys come dragging him out of the woods. He died of old age, natural causes. And so many we see once in their lifetime and never see them again. So with our terrain, the hills and the toughness of where they live, and as sly as they are, they can get away from us many, many times.
Well, that's why they're whitetails. I was just looking at this one right here. Boy, this is a beautiful non-typical.
Isn't that a nice buck? He scores 209 Boone and Crockett, and one of the largest deer that we've ever taken on the ranch. We've seen several that compare to him. There's one old boy out there that we know of that is right in his ballpark right now, but we just can't seem to hunt him down.
Tell me a little bit about the 2 deer right here.
These particular bucks, we're looking in our management program, we're looking to harvest before the rut and before the breeding season, anything that's 8-point mainframe or less as a management type buck. For 7 years, we harvested 5, 6, 7-point bucks. And now we're looking at the 8-point, which is the next step. Thus leaving the big 9, 10, and non-typical to do the breeding. Hopefully the herd will
pass those genetics
That's
along.
right. Get better as we go along. We felt like that when you start messing with genetics, you're really, it takes a long time to do anything. But in 10 years, we wanted to know that at least we hope to be doing the right thing in our management program. So when you get big old boys like this, that's a trophy in anybody's book, especially ours, but it's a management buck here in Sanctuary.
Well, in Alabama, we just started in the last few years on a management program, and it's starting to pay off. People are starting to let the little bucks walk and taking a lot of does and trying to get our herd and, you know, in the right balance. What's your buck to doe ratio?
We're working on a 2 buck to a doe ratio right now. It's not quite that good, but it's right in that area, and that's where we'll probably keep it, because we want a guy to be able to come out here and look at a lot of bucks, and we're looking at a big intensified management program that will ensure that that hunter has that opportunity.
Well, that's great. All right, this week, what's my opportunity? We got some hardwood hunting, afternoon hunting. What's your game plan?
A little bit of everything, I think. We'll slip around in some of the heavy slash, check some scrapes and rubs,
Good.
and maybe do a little rattling. It's a little bit early yet, but we'll see what's out there. We'll hunt a few food plot areas where we have come in and planted clover and ryegrass and a special mixture of seed that grows in our area, and to ensure that nutrition.
Is the rut fairly close? A lot of times those does will come out and those bucks will be chasing those does on those afternoons.
It's happening. It won't be long. A couple of more good cold fronts coming through. Okay. We'll see activity this week. We'll see some fighting, and definitely the rut is around the corner.
Sounds good. I got some equipment I need to get tuned in. Which way is the range?
Let's go.
Keeping in mind the Buckmaster's one-shot concept, Jackie always likes to sight in his rifle when reaching the hunting camp to make sure that when the opportunity comes up, he'll be ready for one good shot.
Hello, Travis. This is Jackie Bushman.
Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you.
This is Travis, one of my guides. Thanks for bringing this hay bale down for us.
Yeah, all I need to do is take a few practice shots. I just got off the plane. So if you can just put a red dot on that hay bale right there, I'm gonna move back here to the stand and I'll be ready to take a few shots. If you just move the four-wheeler out,
that'd be great.
Then we can go scouting and go hunting, Skipper.
All right.
Boy, Skipper, really starting to see a lot of sign and hear the rubs, trails coming through.
Yes, here's a major trail that intersects right here, just west of that big black cedar swamp, about 300 yards to the east of us.
Okay.
A lot of big guys are coming back and forth.
Good gracious, look at the tree right here. Gee whiz.
He's starting to work on it pretty good.
Boy, look how deep he's dug in there. He's starting to scrape around here. Well, I like the activity here, the rubbing all the trees here. So there's a swamp back in here.
That's right. Must be about 300 to 400 yards back that direction.
And that's where they're bedding mostly.
Yeah. Be a nice place to set up a stand for a morning hunt.
Okay. Well, if we can get up here, you know, I want to try to get on as high as elevation as I can, you know, for the wind and everything. You know, let's walk up here and just find out where these trails connect. Because anytime I can get a stand where the trails are connecting, that's a good place. I like this, a lot of sign.
Let's look at it.
Is this one of the places you were talking about?
This looks like a nice spot right here.
Yeah.
Major trails coming through.
Yeah, they're both connecting right there.
Heavy slash. The cedar swamp is on beyond that.
That's where most of the deer bed.
That's right. They'll work their way this direction early in the morning.
Yeah, I see a lot of acorn trees in here.
This be two good trees right here.
Yeah, either one of those would be a good place to put a stand. Well, I like that because that's giving me a good shot.
This ought to be real good for in the morning, and maybe down over here in this opening would be a better afternoon spot.
All right, well, I got this one marked, so let's go down here and look at this for an afternoon stand.
All right.
After intense scouting, Jackie tries his luck at bow hunting as skipper horn rattles. Hunter orange is not required when bow hunting at the sanctuary. Skipper was able to finally rattle up a nice 8-pointer. But unfortunately, this buck did not present a good shot for Jackie.
I always tell people that camouflage plays just as important role as choosing the right bow or gun. Our Realtree gray leaf and brown leaf patterns have been very successful, and our snow pattern is a highly effective pattern. New to the Realtree family is our all-purpose pattern. All-purpose is a larger pattern that has a lifelike appearance. With Realtree all-purpose, well, it simply works anywhere. Almost daily, hunters across the country call or write just to tell us how successful they've been using Realtree.
Hi, I'm Jackie Bushman, the Buckmaster. You know, one of the most important factors in being a successful hunter is your clothing. It must be quiet and durable. That's why I, along with millions of hunters across the country, wear Liberty rugged outdoor gear. Liberty has a complete line of hunting clothing for warm and cold weather. They can't be beat in price or quality. And it's all made right here in the USA. So take a tip from the old Buckmaster. If you like to hunt, Liberty's got you covered.
Challenge the buck for his dominance. Make him fighting mad. Make him come to you to defend his dominance with Ben Lee Dominant Buck Urine. Field tested and proven to be one of the best dominant buck attractants today. Deer research at a leading university in the Southeast has proven that a dominant buck will defend his status when challenged. Ben Lee's Dominant Buck Urine, proven to be effective. From Wellington Outdoors, makers of Tinks and Ben Lee hunting products. Jackie decides that he will bow hunt the first afternoon at the sanctuary. After placing a stand on the edge of a field, Jackie has a good 8-point buck set up camp right under his stand. From the camera's viewpoint, the buck is in the clear, but Jackie can only see the buck's nose and tines through the leaves. While there are several bucks in and around the field, none are in range for Jackie. Whatever type of hunting Jackie does, he always uses a cover scent to mask the human odor. Today, he will also use a tarsal gland to challenge mature breeding bucks in the area. The rutting odor of the gland should make the mature bucks come out to investigate the new buck. The next day, the weather began to change for the worse. Jackie decides to rifle hunt from a brush top in the same area that he bow hunted. From here, he has a good view of the field and the edge of the woods. Several bucks come out in the field, but they're out of range for Jackie. After seeing movement in the woods early on, Jackie finally had 2 bucks move close enough for him to see in his scope. The lead buck was a very nice 8-pointer.
Shoot. I think he's a good one. He's a big-bodied deer.
Which way did he go?
Last time I saw him, he was going down that edge right there.
Well, let's see if we can find it.
He looked big in the scope, man, I'm telling you, he looked big. There he is right there, Skip.
What a nice buck.
Look how big. Good gracious, look at the body on this deer right here.
Oh, he's got it all. Kind, length, mass, the whole works.
Wow, what an 8-point. Look at the mass right here. Holy smokes. Well, I tell you, I was sitting there and I saw some movement back in the woods, and there was 2 big logs right there. And this buck and another buck were coming, and this buck was getting a little nervous, so I was real fortunate to get the 1 shot off. But God, I knew he had a good mass, but I didn't have really a lot of time to check him out. Oh, that is
nice one.
That is the biggest 8-point I've ever taken. Like I said, I've had a lot of chances to go a lot of places, hunt a lot of nice deer, but boy, my first trip to Michigan, I'll never forget this. Did a great job.
Thank you.
Appreciate the hospitality.
Good shot.
Let's get him on back to the lodge. I know the guides are going to love to see this old rascal.
Yeah.
In 2 trips to hunt with my good friend Bill Jordan, I have yet to take a buck. Though Bill has been successful while I've been there. We'll also get another visit from the famous rattlesnakes.
Welcome back. This is the 3rd time that Jackie will hunt the beautiful rolling hills of the Calloway Gardens Hunting Preserve with good friend Bill Jordan. Let's join Jackie and Bill as they get ready for the week's hunt.
Well, what you think?
You setting me up again?
I tell you, this is your stand right here.
I knew you were up to something.
You can see the power line out there.
Yes.
If you've got your gun sighted in for about 6 miles, you should be able to see something.
All right, well, I can see my stand. I'm already messed up on my stand. Now you got me the weather. Gee, it feels like turkey season.
I got you the weather. I've told you every time you come, you're bad luck.
That must be.
You know, I tell you, it's the... Can't help it. Once again, we're in the third week of December, and you know, when I called you about coming over, it was in the 30s as far as the lows, and getting up to about 50 in the days. And I tell you, this warm front came in ahead of this other front.
Got a full moon too.
Full moon, 75 degrees today, and 50 degrees I think is what it's going to tonight. But we're still going to see deer.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Now, is that the power line over there where you got that big 8 last year?
Yeah, it just happens to be kind of bring back little memories for me.
So I noticed that you're moving me as far away from it as possible,
This
right?
is about as far as on the property I can get you away from it.
Because that was where I wanted to go.
Well, you're going to be close to it. You're going to be sitting on a clover field, but I tell you, that was a real nice deer. I'm just glad we got him on camera last year for the show.
Well, like I said, a lot of the folks at home didn't get a chance to see that show. We're going to give you a flashback what made you history last year and got me out in that freezing rain. Let's take a look at it right now.
I'd like to look at it.
We'll do it. Woo, man, I'm tired. Good gracious, what a buck.
What do you think?
Golly, that's Leroy, isn't it?
That's him.
Golly, Pete, let's look at him.
That's the same, you know, I saw him 2 nights ago. I was telling you about it. I told you he had some good times and good spread.
Look at this for a Georgia whitetail. Good gracious. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Got some other stuff. 8, 9.
It's not bad for acorn.
You know what? Now, folks, I'm going to tell you this. We've been here a week, and he's been hunting this stand, hadn't left it. And I kept saying, Bill, let me go down there. And he's been seeing some small bucks. And he's going, no, I want you to put you somewhere else. You're the best liar I ever seen. To be a good deer hunter, you got to tell a tale.
It's just a good host. That's all it is. Well, I told you I'd seen this deer several times.
Yeah, you told me that.
And, you know, I was saying 2 nights ago, I was sitting on the same stand, and he came out a little bit late, and he had a bad leg. I tell you the funny thing about it, look at his leg, and he couldn't put any weight on it. It's in position right there.
I'll be doggone.
And I call him a limping Leroy.
Well, you made one good shot, and I'm proud of you.
I tell you, 1 shot.
Well, I had to come down the hill. I knew I couldn't stand it. Well, I tell you what, the guys at the camp are just going to die when they see him.
That's not a bad idea.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Let's get him on to the house.
Okay.
Boy, that was a great buck last year.
I tell you what, I just hope we can see his brother on this trip.
Who's going to see him, me or you?
Well, since I'm putting you on the best stand, you know, you're probably going to see him over me.
I don't even know if I brought any bullets. I hadn't needed anything last 2 years.
You did bring bullets this time?
Yeah, I brought a few.
Well, I'm going to put you on a clover field this afternoon. I tell you, we've been seeing, like saying, 25, 30 deer on it every afternoon. Of course, it's warmed up a little bit, but you're still going to see deer.
All right. You going to go show me where my stand
Let's go take a look at it, and then we'll take a break for lunch.
So I really don't have to hunt in this stand here?
No, I tell you, you know, maybe the last afternoon, since you got your gun sighted in that far, I might bring you back.
You're incredible.
Let's go look at that clover.
Come on. Trails and everything.
All the trails come through here.
Yeah, got that too.
Plain hillside.
Here's just another major trail right here. I mean, we've walked about 100 yards right there.
Well, you can tell there's 6 or 7 trails coming off this hillside right there.
Right.
And, of course, you know, we got like right in the 3rd week of December, and our acorns are gone. As you can tell, we got imperial whitetail clover mixed with some wheat planted.
They love that clover.
They love that clover, and I tell you, this time of year, you know, it gives us a year-round food source,
right.
But these deer are actually concentrating here in the afternoons, and it's not uncommon to see 20, 30, 35 deer per field in the afternoons.
Right. How many different fields we got?
Got 5 different fields, and we have not been on these fields in several weeks.
Okay.
And, you know, we sat in here the other day just looking with binoculars and saw a couple of different 8-pointers and 1 10. You know, the full moon's got us a little bit. It's warmed up a little bit on us, but still we're going to see deer.
Okay. You've got enough fields depending on which way the wind direction is.
The wind looks like it shifted to the south-southwest, and we've got this stand just absolutely perfect for you know, this afternoon. And you may have to make a pretty long shot, because you can tell this field's pretty long.
Oh, yeah. Look at it. Okay.
It's up to you on making that shot.
I can make that. Like I said, you seem to always invite me over on a full moon and hot weather. So
Can you believe it? I tell you, you know, here it is 3rd week of December, and it's going up to 70 degrees.
I haven't shot yet in 3 years, so it don't make no difference.
Well, it's not because you hadn't had an opportunity. Hey, I still want to think back of that 10-pointer a couple of years ago. They walked out within about 20 yards.
Yeah, I kept dreaming. I dreamed of you over in the bushes going, hey, and spooking my deer off. I know you wouldn't have done that.
I wouldn't have done that, too. Well, we've got this stand placed. What I want to do is go ahead and show you where the stand is.
Okay.
And I want you to definitely come back in here this afternoon.
Okay.
And hunt it and see what happens.
All right. Where you got it located?
It's right up here behind us. Let's walk up here and just take a look at it.
That's a great trail coming off this hillside.
Yeah.
Should be in a great place. There's a stand right there.
Right.
And basically what I've done, Jackie, I've moved that stand off the field. Instead of being exposed, right on the edge, as you can see, you got good visibility, all through there.
Yeah, this looks nice.
So I just don't like to be on the very edge of the fields when those deer start feeding on that clover.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have a lot of chance catching a lot of deer coming late off this hill right here.
Well, I tell you what, a lot of times those big bucks will hang back, instead of coming to the field. So you got plenty of visibility on all sides of looking out there.
It's going to be good for a south-southwest wind line.
Yeah, set up perfect for the wind like we got it right now. Tell you what I'm going to do, check your boats.
Yeah.
Make sure they're all good and tight.
Yeah, this is in good shape. It's a good place.
I'm going to leave your safety strap right there.
Good.
I tell you what, let's do. Let's go take a little break and get something to eat.
Okay.
Get a little lunch under us, and I'll bring you back in a couple of hours.
All right. We're in pretty good shape.
Okay.
I like this spot.
I tell you, it's going to be a great place for you.
I like this spot.
You're going to see lots of deer.
I hope so.
The bow hunter, his heritage, and the equipment he uses are all a testament to man's responsibility to the game he hunts. Just as he chooses the best possible hunting spots, he also takes care to choose the best possible equipment. His choice, PSE. PSE, compound bows with unparalleled speed and durability. PSE, pioneers of the center flight handle and matching sights, quivers, overdraws, and broadheads. Put precision in your bow hunting. You owe it to the game you hunt. See your authorized PSE dealer today.
Master bow hunter Chuck Adams bagged the first North American Super Slab. He shoots eastern arrows. D. Wild has ranked #1 in the PAA for 3 years running. He shoots eastern arrows. Jay Byers captured an Olympic gold medal. He shoots eastern arrows. Any questions? Welcome back. Now let's join Jackie with special guests Roy Conine and Doug Rogers.
I got my buddies Doug Rogers and Roy Conine of Rattler's brand, and they're going to talk to us a little bit more about snakes, as you've seen probably in the last couple of years. Guys, welcome back to the show. I'm nervous. I don't know why, but I'm nervous.
Oh, well, you're a pro at this, Jackie. You've done it a while now.
Yeah, I have.
You're fully protected, or there's nothing to worry about?
I know. I got them. I got my chaps. I just want to be able to jump quick. All right, guys. We got 3 rattlesnakes down here on the ground. I guess I see a lot of guys writing in letters and stuff. Tell us a little bit about the difference between these snakes and where they might find these snakes if they're in their part of the country.
All right, in the southeast, you've primarily got 2 kinds of rattlesnakes. You've got a timber rattler, also known as a canebrake, and also you've got an eastern diamondback. In the western part of the United States, Texas, you'd have a western diamondback that looks very similar to this. The diamondbacks are found more in sandy soil, say in the southern part of the state, in Alabama or in Georgia, and also into Florida. They will generally stay in gopher turtle holes, and then they'll come out and hunt that way. The timber rattlers, on the other hand, will stay in brush piles around rocks, and they're one that you'd more likely encounter generally in the state.
This one right here?
Yes, this one right here.
Okay.
The timber rattler is also found pretty much throughout the United States, all the way up into New York and out through the west. There's different species, but the timber rattler is a very prolific snake, and they're in most any area that would be a good hunting area, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, I remember we did the deal with, stepping across the logs last year, but I was too quick. He didn't get me. But I don't want him to bite me. All right, now you've got, good gracious. Whew, that one's got a big head. Look at the tongue on that thing right there.
Right, the diamondback would definitely have the most venom. You can tell by the venom sacs on the back of his head. The timber rattler's, right, that's his venom sacs. The timber rattler doesn't have quite as much venom, but it's still a very dangerous snake, and they're one you need to watch out for.
All right, now you've got, what's this black thing on your arm right there? I ain't touching it. Don't give it to me.
This is an eastern king snake. It's a non-poisonous snake. Just like that one had the venom sacs that made its head triangular, this snake basically has no neck. The head goes right into the body, and that's because there's no venom sac. It's a non-poisonous snake. This snake is a very beneficial snake. It eats poisonous snakes as well as rodents and other pests.
Go on and put him down there on the ground, man.
Those might be a little too large, but they can't eat a snake as big as they are.
Can't really. Can you show, without me getting too close, can you show the camera right there and the audience the difference in the heads of both those snakes so they'll kind of know? Well, I mean, it doesn't make any difference to me. I'm gonna run if I see both of them, but
You can see the triangular shaped head of the poisonous snake, indicating, as Doug said, the venom sacs to make it the poisonous snake. Much slender is the head of the king snake and any other non-poisonous snake.
okay. All right, $100 question right here. What happens if, unfortunately, you get bit by a rattlesnake or a copperhead or a water moccasin or whatever? Besides doing it in your britches and your shoes, what do you need to do?
Well, obviously, the most important thing that you always hear is to remain as calm as possible. Then you want to seek medical attention as soon as you can. The old idea that you should cut and suck the venom out is just going to introduce more problems than if you just leave the wound alone and seek medical attention. A lot of times what will happen is you'll cut a blood vessel, which is going to cause a lot of problems. You'll spread the venom. Main thing is get to the hospital. You got some time. You're not just going to die unless you got a real problem with it, whether it hits in a blood vessel or goes straight to the heart, and in which case you don't have much hope anyway.
Well, where, now this is like I said, where if you get bit, don't be moving that thing so close to me. Where? Show me parts of the body that if you get bit are the ones you don't need to panic. I know you don't need to panic. Say if you got bit in the face or the arm or the leg, which ones are the worst?
Well, anywhere closer to the brain or the heart is going to be a lot more of a problem. Anywhere on your extremities, your arms and legs, where the majority of people get bit, you've got more time to work with.
Okay.
And you know, there's also the old wives' tale about putting a tourniquet, or, you know, between the wound and the heart.
Right.
Well, a lot of times people can greatly increase the problems they encounter by doing that tourniquet too tight, increasing the blood pressure throughout their body and spreading more venom. So your main goal is to let as little venom as possible get into the bloodstream.
Okay. Woo! Boy, I'm glad you're in between me and you. Well, guys, like I said, it's always a pleasure having y'all on the show. I don't know why it's our most popular show. I guess it's just because people are fascinated with snakes. I'm fascinated, totally fascinated by it.
From a distance.
Yeah, from a distance. Like I said, somebody said the snake is in the class of the big three. Big dogs, ghosts, and snakes. Those are the three things that I'm most scared of, and I have to agree with them. So we appreciate y'all coming back on the show.
Thanks for having us.
I hope those tips will help. So.
Now, back to the hunt. Though the temperature is very warm for this late December afternoon, Jackie and Bill expect to see a lot of whitetails. As he does whenever he hunts, Jackie applies a cover scent when entering the woods. Soon after getting into his tree stand, Jackie has a number of deer to appear in the field in front of him. A nice buck finally makes his way into the field. But he isn't quite the size of buck Jackie is looking for. Meanwhile, Bill, who is bow hunting, has a good buck within range at his stand. walks off, never presenting a shot for Bill. The Buckmasters Whitetail magazine will be right back.
Now, there are 3 great ways to become a member of Buckmasters.
You can join for 1 year and receive 6 exciting issues of the #1 deer hunting magazine, The Buckmasters. You'll also receive your choice of a blaze orange or Realtree hunting cap, a vehicle decal, a Buckmasters member tag for your vehicle, and 1 quality scent from Wellington Outdoors. This package retails for over $50, but is yours today for only $20. Or better yet, sign up for 2 years and receive all of this plus 6 more issues of the Buckmasters Whitetail magazine, a member dress hat, and the best of the Buckmasters Television Series video, a $110 value for just $38.95. Or, best of all, join for 3 years and receive everything you see, plus a 3-inch Gerber lock blade knife and 6 more issues of the Buckmasters Whitetail magazine. Worth over $150, but is yours for only $56.95. Call now, 1-800-477-BUCK. That's 1-800-477-2825 and pick out your membership today. Next is a successful hunt in cold Saskatchewan, Canada. The temperature is cold, but as you will see, it's well worth the effort to hunt this frigid province.
Welcome back. Let's join Jackie as he and outfitter Paul Merrick discuss Saskatchewan hunting regulations with Conservation Officer Ron Erickson.
Nice to see you again. It's a little warmer, though.
Well, like I said, I was here the 3rd week, and I thought I could come back the first week. It might be a little bit warmer, but looks like we're in for an interesting treat.
Yeah, I think you're going to like what you see.
Well, I hope so.
I invited Ron Erickson along. He's a local conservation officer.
Yes, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Tell us a little about it. We got millions of hunters watching the show, and like I said, a lot of guys hadn't made their way up to Saskatchewan, but tell me a little bit about the population and some of the regulations we need to be looking for this week.
Okay. The province of Saskatchewan has probably 200 to 250,000 whitetails.
In the whole province?
In the whole province, yeah.
You know, in Alabama, we got like 2 million. We have more deer per acre, so that's, boy, that's something. But you do have some big bucks walking around.
Yeah, we do. In a typical year, there's around 30 to 40,000 animals taken by resident and non-resident hunters.
I got you. And there's a lot of Boone and Crockett's out of that, too.
Yeah, out of that number of deer, some years there'll be 20 to 30 Boone and Crockett actually registered out of that number, and some years it's been even higher.
How about that?
Yeah, that's very outstanding.
That's incredible. Tell me a little bit about the regulations. Just, you know, I know something about the colors now. And tell me a little bit about that. It's a little different.
First thing I was going to say is your jacket. You're going to have to be wearing the
solid white.
The solid white, or blaze orange, red, even yellow. Okay. With a toque like you have, blaze orange toque like you have, a red hat like Paul has. Not a white hat. Sort of gives the indication of a whitetail going through the bush.
Oh, I see. I see.
But other than that, I think you'll be all right.
You know, I normally weigh about 180, and when I get dressed, I weigh about 480. So I'm going to be bow hunting a little bit, and I got 2 tags. That's one thing in Saskatchewan, you're able to take 2 deer up here, and that's kind of
neat. That's right. In this zone, it's felt that there's a lot of deer here, and we can afford to give everybody 2 deer.
Well, that's great. Also, you mentioned I need to put a lock on my bow when I'm coming out of the stand to come meet the guides, right?
Right. When you're going into your stand or coming back out to meet your guide, you should have your bow locked, yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate you coming out. We got to get some tree stands put up. I know you got to go do your job.
That's right.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Good luck.
All right, thanks.
The density of forest and the deep snow make it very difficult to hunt whitetail on foot. So, tree stand hunting is most effective. Today, besides horn rattling and grunting, Jackie will set out a battery-powered scent dispenser to attract the area's mature bucks. With temperatures around 40 below, hand warmers are a necessity, since heavy gloves are not practical for bow hunting. Soon after getting into his stand on the last afternoon, Jackie has a doe come down a hill in front of him. While concentrating on the doe, an 8-point buck appears from nowhere. The buck passes right under the stand but not offering a shot. Jackie is able to get the buck turned around using a grunt call.
Yes, sir. Oh, man. Boy, that is a hard way to get a Saskatchewan whitetail, I can tell you that. All right. Young 8-pointer. Boy, I tell you what. He was coming down the hill chasing the does. And I went to put my first arrow in, and it dropped and went all the way to the ground. And he had his attention on the doe so much, he didn't pay attention. That's just part of bow hunting. Then he went around the corner, and I grunted at him a couple of times, and he eased on back. And I was able to make the shot. Went right in here, and went all the way through. So when he whirled and turned, and he went about 50 yards, about 50 yards. But I tell you what, hunting these deer up here in Saskatchewan and being able to handle the weather. I mean, I've been sitting 3 or 4 days, it's been 40 below. I'm seeing a lot of spikes. We're about a week or 2 weeks away from the full rut of seeing the big bucks, but a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Let me make sure I get my tags on. But I tell you what, if you're looking for a bow hunting adventure, it is something else up here. But the main thing is you got to get where the does are. If you can get where they are, that's the key to hunting them. And like I said, it's my first time of hunting in Saskatchewan, and especially with the bow and arrow. That's even a bigger challenge because having to draw back and all the clothes and making sure you got the right spot to take the shot, there's so many pieces to this puzzle, but it's well worth it, and I've had a lot of fun so far.
Buckmaster member Anthony Berardis of Mohopic, New York is hunting in the camp with Jackie this week. Let's join Jackie, Anthony, and guide Dave Kelbert.
Boy, there he is right there. Wow,
yep.
What a buck. Oh.
Look at that guy there. Huh?
Look at that buck right there. Anthony, my man.
What do you guys think?
My man. Look at
yes.
that one.
Nice buck, huh?
All right. A Buckmaster member.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, what was he doing?
He was chasing 2 does, just grunting right on their tail, and came down that little ravine to my right in there. And,
you had to make a quick decision, huh?
Made a quick decision, picked a couple of quick lanes where I thought he might stop, and he gave me a good opportunity at about 25 yards.
Boy, that's super.
Yeah.
That is a great buck. Dave, I think he's going to be a Pope and Younger.
Oh, yeah, I got a feeling he's going to make it. Nice 8 like that?
Yes, sir, and an 8-point. Look at the brow tines right there, Anthony.
Yeah, that's something, huh?
Isn't that unique? Well, I tell you what, it's been a fun week hunting with you and your dad. And like I said, that's what deer hunting's all about, you know, father and son relationships. And I have a special place in my heart for all you New Yorkers because that's where I started Buckmasters. And it's been a fun week. I tell you what, the guys back at the lodge, they're going to love to see this old rascal.
I'll say.
Well, let's get him on back. We want to get the snowmobile and make this easier on us, right?
Yeah, that'll save us a lot of time. That sounds good to me.
You did a good job, man.
Thanks.
Good job.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. New Yorkers, all right.
Yeah.
Anthony's father, Tony, also from Mohopic, New York, was able to take this nice 9-point buck.
When you're hunting, no shot is this clear, or this clear, or even this clear. At dawn or dusk, real-life targets are hard to see, even with binoculars and scopes, unless they're made by Nikon. Nikon scopes are built for a tough hunt. They maximize the available light and make all your sightings sharp. So real-life targets seem as clear as if they were on paper. For more information, call 1-800-BE-HUNTIN'.
Now, from the makers of the world's greatest bow hunting releases, TrueFire, comes the new TrueFire Power Grips with a Pro bearing or Pro caliper. The new Power Grip has a true rotator release with the most comfortable grip you can buy. TrueFire. The camo strap provides maximum grip and comfort and folds out of your way when tree climbing or pulling arrows. TrueFire. See the new TrueFire Power Grip and the full line of TrueFire bow hunting releases priced to fit anybody from beginners to pros at fine hunting stores everywhere. Success in the palm of your hand. TrueFire.
Coming up is a hunt with Buckmaster's Whitetail Management Consultant, Bog Zaiglin. Bob and I will horn rattle and hunt over oat fields in South Texas. Boy, Bob, it's mighty dry.
Boy, that it is, I tell you. But here's some oats here that's growing, and you can see that the deer are literally chopping them to the bits. Boy, they're really after it. That's excellent forage this time of year. You know, everything's dry. They utilize a lot of prickly pear this time of the year, but right now oats is cherished, and again, it's dry. We do not have that much cover as far as oats is going, but they'll be coming in these fields pretty good.
Oh yeah, as long as you've got, some, they'll definitely be in here. Seems like by the time you get it up, they're nibbling it all off.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, and something we've tried this year is those blinds you sent me. They work real well. We could the portable blinds.
Right.
And on some of these fields, particularly the big ones, we've got quite a few food plots, about 27, 30 of them, and there's places where deer come into them and places they void.
Right.
And with those portable blinds, we put them wherever we need to.
All right, so we're going mostly afternoon here.
Yeah,
afternoon hunt here.
We'll hunt in the afternoon here.
Okay.
And we'll rattle and do whatever we feel like the deer dictate in the morning.
Okay, sounds good.
So let's go over and look at one of the blinds that one of the guys will hunt this afternoon.
Okay, sounds good. Bob, this is one of the many blinds I sent you, isn't it?
Yeah. Tell you, it'll do all right. We got it set up.
It's an overgrown umbrella.
Well, I tell you what is, like I said, deer coming in over this corner here. We're right here, and I'll tell you another thing. They're good for photography purposes.
Oh, sure. Well, the thing I like about it is you can just put it all in one little thing. You put it on your shoulder and you just take it anywhere.
Yeah, very light.
Turkey hunting, deer hunting, whatever.
Yeah, it's a pretty good
But
deal.
we got a stool in here. Our hunters can sit on the stool. And like I said, they got the little slits right here. They can put the gun out and shoot. So, but I know you mentioned you had so many fields, and you're going to have some guides sitting on some fields when the hunters aren't. If they spot some deer, we'll be able to move them.
to those fields, you bet.
Right. Well, all right. Well, I tell you what, I need to shoot my rifle a little bit.
Okay.
So if we can get on back to the camp, then I'll be ready to go hunting this afternoon.
Let's go.
The first afternoon, Jackie and Bob decide to do some horn rattling. Horn rattling is a very effective way to hunt whitetail in South Texas. Because of the intense management of this ranch, the competition for breeding privileges by mature bucks is intense, and for that reason, the bucks tend to react to horn rattling. Bob is able to rattle up a buck, but Jackie can only see it from the neck up, as the buck blends in well with the rugged Texas terrain. A promising first afternoon for our hunters. This massive South Texas ranch offers many ways to hunt the elusive whitetail, from horn rattling to stand hunting over wheat and oat fields, to hunting the lanes between the thickets. Each of these techniques has proven effective on this ranch. Now it's time for the Buckmaster's Tip of the Week, brought to you by Nikon Sport Optics. You'll never see things quite the same again.
Hi, Bog Zaiglin here, Whitetail Management Consultant for Buckmasters Whitetail Magazine. Whenever you're in the field and see a really good deer sporting 10 or more tines, with the G2s, which are the second points on the rack, being as tall, if not taller, than the G3s, you're sure enough looking at a good deer. Don't pass him up. And that's your tip for this week from the Buckmasters.
Now let's check in with America's favorite hunter, Bubba.
Okay, Billy Bob. You see him up there? That's him. You know, this almost worked last year. If you appear to be an animal in the forest, you won't spook the other animals. So here's a plan. You stay right behind me. When I say go, I'll fall to one side and you let him have it. But remember, positively identify your target. Oh, and Billy Bob, don't shoot me in the butt again.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back on the Buckmasters.
You know, there's one ammunition that hunters and shooters everywhere consistently rate the highest. It's Federal Premium. This ammunition puts power and technology to work like never before. That, along with Federal's legendary quality, accuracy, and bullet performance, make this ammunition second to none. So when that big buck appears this season, chamber Federal Premium for the shot of a lifetime.
Aren't you glad you're in a lock-on tree stand? Lock-on tree stands, the hunter's choice for over 30 years. After yesterday's successful horn rattling outing, Jackie and Bob choose to spend this morning again trying to rattle up a good buck. A nice buck comes in responding to the horns. The camera catches the buck before the hunters know he's there. From the camera's viewpoint, the buck is in the clear, but Jackie does not have a clear shot. Later that day, Buckmasters member Elliot Allen and Bob hunted out of a portable blind. Let's join them.
It's the best time of day, last hour of day. No question about it. You see those does?
Yeah.
They're working that edge of that field. Something pretty big's coming out there. Just hold on. It's a young buck. Look what's behind him. Good 8. He's 22 inside. If you want to take him, just take your time. Take it easy. Get a shell in. No, he's down. Good shot. He's down. You got the safety on?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Let's go. There he is, Elliot. What a deer. Oh, what a fine buck.
Man.
Super deer. Congratulations,
Thank you,
Elliot.
Bob. Thank you.
That's one heck of an 8-pointer. He's about 22 inches inside.
Y'all
He
call that a
scored
management
141.
buck, huh? Management.
Well, you're on one of our management buck hunts, but I'll tell you what, this will change a lot of people's minds about what 8-point deer are all about.
Sure will. This week, like I say, has really changed my thinking about watching these beautiful 10 points walk by the blind and not being able to shoot them.
Kind of makes sense now to let them walk so they grow up a little bit.
Sure does.
Well, that's good. I tell you what, we got a little walk to go get a pickup and get some help out here. And let's go get that and come back here and load this baby up. Good deal.
Sir.
Before setting up in their portable blind, Jackie and Bob will place a buck lure attractant scent around the area they will be hunting.
Boy, that's a pretty nice buck over there.
Yeah.
Kind of young.
Yeah.
Boy, a lot of young bucks on the field this evening.
Really is.
There's something moving over there. Nice. That's dope.
Done.
Look what's coming behind her. It's a pretty good buck. I'm not sure what he is. He's a good buck. Now get your gun ready.
Well, he does have good mass on him.
Hold on, let him get out in the field just a little more. I'd take him. He's down, flat down. Good shot. Got safety on?
Yep.
Let's get out of here.
Well, that's a good buck.
Whew. What a deer.
There he is, Bob. Boy, what a deer.
He is. Boy, that South Texas bucks like that have a certain look about them. What a deer.
Look at
wow.
this buck right here.
pretty.
Spread. I knew he was pretty wide.
About 22 inside. He'll score up in the high 140s.
Incredible. Look at him, broke his brow tine off
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
See where he's hitting the trees and stuff.
Well, you know, he's about 6, 7 years of age, perfect management buck. You know, we try to take 8 pointers, but, you know, he does have a couple inches of a 9th point.
Right.
With the brow tine going, but that's a good deer.
Boy,
Nice
I saw that big 10, you know, had about a 25-inch spread, and boy, I said,
he was a pretty deer.
I'd love to be able to get an 8 or in that class right there with that type of spread. Look at him, he's even got the prickly pears in his face right there.
Yeah, well, they eat a lot of prickly pear this time of year. You know, it's just a source of energy for them. You know, a lot of carbohydrate and pear, everything else.
I'll tell you what, we were mighty patient. It's taken us 4 years to get a good buck, but I mean, a lot of people have no clue what an 8-point can be.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And we've looked at some nice 8s. We passed up a lot of nice 8s. I really did.
We were horn rattling and stuff.
Sure.
Boy,
well, anyhow, 4th year's a charm.
Hey, you're the best. You're the best.
All right, well,
let's get on back to the truck and get him, and let's take him back to camp.
Okay.
I know the guys are going to love to see him.
Oh, they're going to like it.
What a buck.
All right.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back with the Buckmasters.
Next is a hunt in Alberta, Canada. I'll meet up with Neil Cortis of Big White Outfitters, and we'll hunt thick timber areas, and we'll also show you the potential new world record taken by Ed Koberstein.
Now let's go way up north to one of the coldest hunts the Buckmasters has been on this year. In Alberta, Canada, let's join Jackie with outfitter Neil Cortis of Big White Outfitters as they prepare for the day's hunt.
Boy, Neil, this is the caliber deer you've been telling me about.
These are the big boys. This is what makes Alberta famous.
How about that? Boy, look at this deer right here. He is a unbelievable buck. Look at the mass. Now, what does this deer score?
201 gross.
201 gross.
Yeah. These guys just look like brothers, don't they?
They really do. You know, the characteristics of the Alberta whitetail, I've been fortunate to get a couple of nice ones myself, is that you got everything. You know, you got the body weight, you got the mass. Everything that you want in a whitetail is here. But you don't have that many whitetails in Alberta, do you?
No, we don't have the numbers, but we got the quality. And the key is we have no hunting pressure.
That's important.
None. That's what they get a chance to go to their full potential, eh?
That is incredible. You know, like this week, is this the peak of the rut? You know, like I said,
yeah, the last 2 or 3 weeks of November, that's the peak of the rut.
Peak of the rut?
Yeah.
And what kind of terrain, just so the audience will know, what are we hunting?
Well, we're hunting on the edge, like the fringe land, right on the edge of the bush and in the big timber for the big boys. But they do come out into the grain fields.
In the grain fields?
Yeah, but just about all by stand, taking them by stand.
So we're going to do some tree stand hunting?
Some tree stands, yeah.
Okay.
The odd push.
Sounds good. Now this buck right here's got a unique story to him, doesn't it?
Yeah, boy from Alabama, Troy, Alabama.
Troy, Alabama, right down the road.
Kenny Harris.
Kenny Harris. That's an incredible buck right
191.6.
And he's gonna gross, he'll net the buck too on it.
Yeah, 191.6, 20 minutes into the hunt.
That's incredible. We got some video footage that you gave us. We're gonna look at it right now. But
got some great shots of him.
Look at the body size on that deer. He is an incredible buck.
He's an old timer.
Oh, Kenny's gonna love you for the rest of his life. I know that.
I already got my hugs.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm looking at the drop tine on that one, and look at the drop tine here.
Yeah,
it's very similar, isn't it?
It's almost scary.
And they're in the same range, aren't they?
Yeah, the brow tines, the little hook on the back, everything.
Now the horn's this dark. Is that?
These are the light colored ones. This is more your dark face.
Yeah. Okay. Now this deer right here, we got a great story. Now what does he score?
198.6.
198.6.
Yeah.
It'll give the audience a chance to look at this rack right here from all angles. Straight on. You can see the drop tines right here. This deer scored what now?
198.6.
198.6. And we get a chance right now to go see who got this deer, right?
Yeah, he's kind of unusual.
Right down the road.
Let's go.
Let's go. Does this hunter live up here at the store?
No, this is the hunter I was talking about.
Oh, my heavens. You know what? This is the first one. You know, I hear about this all over the country. I read about it and stuff. But this is the first time I've ever seen a vehicle.
That's got some major damage, doesn't it?
And it got this buck right here.
Yeah.
As Jackie sits in the freezing temperatures, he spots some movement far across a field. Finally, a good 10-point crosses a thin opening of the edge of the woods. But the buck doesn't present a clear shot. While Jackie didn't have any luck this time in Alberta, Buckmaster member Ed Koberstein had the hunt of a lifetime. Let's join Ed as he shows Buckmasters magazine editor Russell Thornberry his potential new world record buck.
Welcome to the land of giants. I'm in the town of Lacombe in the western Canadian province of Alberta, where last November a man named Ed Koberstein made deer hunting history when he took a huge typical deer that has the potential to be the largest typical whitetail ever taken. Ed's deer at 207 and 2/8 supersedes the 206-point Jordan buck taken in 1914 in Wisconsin. And Ed, it's a pleasure to have you here on the Buckmasters television show. And I must congratulate you on a phenomenal trophy. As you know, you've taken every deer hunter's dream. Tell us about how it feels to have done that.
Something I never anticipated, certainly overwhelming.
Well, I know our viewers are extremely interested to hear the details surrounding that historic hunt, so tell us what happened.
I was going to hunt with some friends that day. It was Monday, November 25th, and they were going to be a little later, so I had said I was going to go out into the bush, find myself a comfortable log, and sit there until later when they would come out and join me. On my way into the bush, walking down this trail, a deer did blow at me off to my left. I sat on the road for a while, or on the trail, and this lasted for about 10 minutes, and finally I decided to continue on to the log I had kind of picked out where I might go and sit down. And I got there, I had a view to the east as well as to the north, down a little trail each way, and I was facing north, and I didn't have to wait long, probably about 10 minutes. And I heard something behind me, and kind of owl style, I turned around, my head only, and I spotted this deer out of the corner of my eye, and he knew something was there. He was looking directly at me. He blew a couple times, and he was stomping his feet. And I didn't want to move. So finally, after about a minute and a half, he looked away, and that gave me an opportunity to turn around about 180 degrees and get a shot at him.
Oh, isn't that incredible? Let's talk a minute about the particulars of the rack. I guess we're talking in total 10 points right, 10 points left, 9 typical points versus 8 typical points. And there's 1 point on the left side, on your side there, that has the potential to drive the score even higher. Can you explain the particulars?
Okay, Russ, as I understand it, the current measurement uses this point as the typical, and this is a deduction as non-typical. There is some thinking, some people have advised me that They certainly could consider this as the typical point, and if that was taken, the deer has then a potential of scoring in the area of 210 to 211.
And if that being the case, it would just really make a major jump beyond the Jordan buck, would it not?
It gives a little leeway, yes.
What kind of length are we talking about on the main beams? The deer looks like he must be 17 or 18 inches inside spread, would you say?
When it was measured, it was 17.5 inches.
I see. And the main beams are?
The main beams were, in both of them, in between 28 and 29 inches.
We thank you so much for joining us. And for Buckmaster's Whitetail Magazine, I'm Russ Thornberry. Back to you, Jackie.
Thanks, Russell, for a great interview. I personally like to congratulate Buckmaster member Ed Koberstein on a trophy whitetail I know he won't forget. I sure hope it'll hold up as the new world record as far as typical whitetails in North America. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. The best way to select a hunting boot is through the process of elimination. First, eliminate any boot that carries a human scent. Next, eliminate any boot that isn't 100% waterproof. Finally, eliminate any boot that isn't warm or comfortable. What you have left is the new Lacrosse Buckmasters, the best hunting boots money can buy. See them at your Lacrosse dealer today. Here's part 2 of my hunt in Saskatchewan with Paul Merrick. I take a nice Pope and Young buck this time.
Welcome back. The sub-freezing temperatures and the thick forest make for some challenging whitetail hunting. Both Jackie and Russ are in their tree stands, ready for the day's hunt. Let's join Russ as he has 2 small bucks under his stand. The spike and the small 9-point finally leave the area. Later, a nice rack buck approaches Russ's stand. The buck is now in perfect position for Russ to take a shot. Even the best bow hunters in the world sometimes mess up an easy opportunity, as Russ does here when he misfires his bow. Meanwhile, Jackie has seen a few does and small bucks around his stand. But now, a good 10-pointer enters the area where he is hunting. The buck seems to sense that something is just not right and appears to begin to leave the area. But the buck turns around and crosses in front of Jackie on the other side of a small thicket. The 10-pointer works his way around the thicket to freshen one of his scrapes, all the while appearing to be a little nervous. Now the buck is close enough for a shot, but is facing directly toward Jackie. If the buck turns to his right, Jackie will not be able to take a shot. If he goes to his left, Jackie will have a chance to draw his bow as the buck will go behind some trees before entering a small clearing.
Yes, sir. Oh, man, oh, man. That's the longest 7 minutes I've ever had in my deer hunting career. Look at him. What a 10-pointer. That just goes to show you, folks, you just do your scouting. We found some scrape lines in the deep woods back there, and we placed a couple of stands up, and got the wind right. And, man, I watched does and spikes and everything. I was real patient. This is my second buck of the week up here. And I tell you, I just had no clue whether he was going to turn my way. He could have gone 3 other directions and I never gotten a shot. But he went and he just standing there looking eyeball to eyeball with me, making the scrape. And then he hesitated to go the right, and he needed to go the left before I got the shot. But I tell you, my hands were so cold, sitting here waiting for him to come out. Then the wind was blowing about 30 miles an hour, and then he was walking, so I had 3 things going against me, but I made a good shot on him. And I tell you what, it has been one heck of a week up here. And like I said, if you're a bow hunter and you really want the ultimate challenge, if you'll come up and see these guys, because you just got to be patient. You got to be able to handle the cold, and it'll happen. And like I said, we're about really a week or 2 weeks right before the major part of the rut. So this is just a small fella here for the deer they got. But as far as a bow and arrow, I'm tickled pink, because he's close to Pope and Young. And the body weight on this old rascal, he is on up there. Oh, Lordy, there's nothing like bow hunting. It's just so many pieces to the puzzle. That's the whole thing. And my first buck of the week, I went to pull on him. My arrow falls down, clang, clang, clang. So I was sitting there thinking, what's going to happen on this deer? But like I said, all the pieces fit, and this is the end result, and he is a beautiful Saskatchewan buck. Let me get my tags on him, and I'll get him back to camp. Paul and those guys, they're going to have a fit when they see this deer.
Hi, I'm Jackie Bushman. When I go bow hunting, I use Thunderhead broadheads. Thunderheads were the first broadheads on the market to use the chiseled trophy tip for superior cut-on contact power. The slimline low-drag ferrule improves penetration, while the patented lock ring and O-ring assures perfect head alignment and cushions the blade on impact. Thunderheads come in various weights too, from the Thunderhead 100 to the hard-hitting Thunderhead 160. Thunderhead, the choice of Buckmasters.
Buckmaster's Vice President, Alan Brewer, joins me this hunt as we travel to scenic Idaho to hunt with guide and outfitter Tim Craig. Well, Tim, this is our second trip back. I brought old Alan back for his second time.
Hey, man.
But I brought you a new guy here. He's also had a lot of hard luck, and I'm counting on you doing it. This is John Harrell, this is Tim Craig.
John, my pleasure.
Good to meet you. All right, what you got in store for us?
Well, I think we'll go ahead and bring this big canyon up down here, Jackie. We've got some nice bucks in there.
Okay.
I'd like to have you go up and set up in that point there.
All right.
And I'll take Alan and John. We'll get back, swing back by the trucks, grab some orange and their rifles.
Okay.
And when I get over there, I'll signal you, and we'll start that drive up. Tom will bring the whole canyon up to us.
Okay, so Tom, I'll be the first one up. I'll wave at you to get started, okay?
Okay, I'll wait for your signal.
A little different there, Johnny.
Tell you what, this brings a new dimension to the word deer drive.
A little different Alabama style, isn't it?
A little different, but it's beautiful country.
It really is. These mountains are real tall, so you got to be looking real close on the bottoms, because a lot of times they'll just stay in that bottom, or a lot of times they'll sneak out and just stay on the hills over there. So y'all look close. There's some big deer. Alan will tell you that from last year. He got a real big buck. Just no snow this year, I see.
Yeah, no, we weren't lucky enough to get that yet. It feels like it's building up to it, though.
Yeah, a lot of wind, though. Okay, so Tom's going to take the four-wheeler around. You're going to take the guys,
Yep.
get the rifles.
Let's go get the rifles, guys. Let's go.
Good luck.
Whether or not your state requires the use of hunter orange, it's always a good idea to wear an orange vest or hat when hunting, especially when moving through the woods. Before the drive begins, Tim and Tom will put on their orange vests to be sure the hunters will see them. As the drive begins, Tim and Tom push several mule deer does out from their midday cover. Then, finally, two nice bucks slowly work their way down a game trail. Straight towards Allen's position.
Man.
That's quite a hike, isn't it?
I'm tired walking down that hill.
Yeah.
Boy, I saw two real good bucks. They were slipping under the shelf, and I couldn't get a shot at them, but they went across the hill toward Allen, and I heard a shot. So.
Did you hear one? Okay,
yeah, I heard one shot.
Great.
So let's go over and head
Let's
toward
see.
him. Maybe it was him that got him.
All right.
Either him or John. Tim, he's done it again.
I guess so. That's one lucky fella. Congratulations, Dylan.
Thank you, bud.
Oh, you
Nice
lucky
buck.
rascal. You.
This is my spot, Idaho.
That is a great buck. Did you see two bucks?
Yeah, came right down the game trail. Tim
I told you that's what happened.
He put me out on that point and said, now the main place you need to watch is this game trail over here. And I wanted to watch the bottom, but I kept looking back and they came right over the top.
Right over the top.
And they were just easing down that trail, weren't moving real fast.
I thought I heard something break loose down there. You know,
Well, when you started, when I hollered at you, right when you started, two bucks came out of the bottom right there. And they came, I couldn't get a shot, and they came right between the shelf. And I couldn't get a shot, and they went over toward Allen. So I knew, I said, if he was looking that way, they'd get him. Boy, that is
Another
great.
heavy one.
That is a great buck.
Well, I'll tell you what, it works perfect. You know, a lot of hunters, you know, no matter what part of the country, if they have any type of ridge terrain, you just got a lot of high ridge terrain here compared to us in Alabama. But anytime you got two ridges like that with a draw in the middle, if you can put one guy at the point and two shooters on both sides of the ridges and bring the drivers to them. If you got, we didn't have an extra hunter today, but a lot of times if you have an extra hunter, you put them exactly where y'all started to drive, because a lot of those big bucks try to go right back.
Yeah, everything's got to work real well. You got to get the, you know, your shooters in the right place, and those deer got to go up those canyons and follow these trails. And generally speaking, it'll work out in a nice, even pattern like it did today.
Yeah. You seem to have a knack for it. 2 years in a row you've done it for me.
Yeah, 14 years.
We didn't have any snow today, though.
Yeah.
No snow.
Would be nice. Weather would have been nice, but we can still get the job done.
Well, we got a lot to do. Well, I tell you what, Alan, you've already got him tagged. Tim, if you'll go back and get the four-wheeler, I'll wait here and we'll put him on the four-wheeler and take him on back to camp.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll be back in about 20 minutes.
All right, be great.
Look at this right there. Look at this. Good mass on.
Positioned on a hill opposite Allen, John Harrell found himself in a great location. He, too, was able to see a good number of whitetails and finally a buck that he wanted to take. All in all, a very good first day's hunt in the pristine mountains of northern Idaho. The newest, most effective way to call trophy bucks is to bleat like a mature doe that is in estrus. This is the exciting new Woods-wise buck and doe combination call. It features a dominant buck grunting reed on one end and the revolutionary new estrus doe bleat reed on the other end, making this the most effective deer call for the serious hunter on the market today. Look for the buck and doe combination call along with a complete line of Woods-wise deer calls and horn rattling products at a dealer near you.
Gerber Legendary Blades continues their tradition of developing innovative products, such as Realtree knives, and this deer hunting must, the Gerber Multiplier. You can operate this tool with one hand, and it enables the hunter to carry 13 handy tools in one compact design. The Multiplier comes in its own sheath and is available in a glass bead or subdued black finish. The Gerber Multiplier, the toolbox that fits in the palm of your hand.
The second day of the hunt proved to be very interesting for the Buckmaster. Before the deer drive, Jackie decided to check out some brush between two hills. Little did he know that he was also being checked out by a curious mountain lion. It didn't take the Buckmaster long to figure out that the brush was not the place for him. After realizing that the brush wasn't the place for him, Jackie decided to try another deer drive. Let's join Jackie and Tim as they get ready for the hunt.
Coming through over this way. The drivers will bring up from the bottom.
From the bottom?
Yeah.
So that's what you're thinking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
right over there. Right.
Like I said, the other two guys, they got a deer, so, you know, maybe...
Today's your day, huh? That's the plan, anyway. If Mother Nature helps us a little bit, we'll be all right.
All right, so this is the tree you want me to...
Yeah, Jack, I'm going to stand underneath this tree here, and I'll go around and drop the guys off, and they'll bring this canyon up here to you.
Okay.
And you got to watch these deer now. They're going to try to sneak up between these two canyons.
Okay.
The narrowest spot where the brush meets the timber up there.
Oh, okay.
And that's where they're going to try to.
All right, now how far is it out there to that? See that black kind of scrubby brush right there?
That's about 250 yards.
About 250.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be the furthest. So.
Okay.
But you got to watch. They're going to be sneaking up. They're not going to be running full bore because they try to get out ahead of those drivers.
I got you. So you're going to take the four-wheeler around and drop the other guys off?
I'll get the guys dropped off, and in about 20 minutes we'll have things going.
All right. Maybe it's my day today.
I hope so.
Okay.
Good luck.
See you.
Before the drive begins, several deer move across the hilltop in front of Jackie. One curious doe trots only a few yards from Jackie's position. Finally, 3 good bucks cross the hill in front of Jackie. Maybe one will present a good shot for Jackie.
That's just what it do. Look at this buck right here. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. Look at the width on him. Look at the body size. That is a great buck. Hey!
Yeah, I heard the shot, Jackie.
Oh, man, I tell you what, y'all are something else on these drives.
Well, that
Look
drive
at this
worked
buck
good,
right
didn't it?
here.
That's a dandy now. Congratulations,
Hey,
Jackie.
thanks, man.
That worked out great. Super.
Right
That's
on the
a good-
hill, right there next to that little, you know, the black brush right there. There was
brush
3 bucks.
Ahead of that draw.
Oh.
They come right out there. I'll be darned.
I think there was one a lot bigger than this one, but they were all big.
Yeah.
And this one stopped and gave me a good broadside
There's
shot.
3 of them together there.
Yeah, they weren't in a hurry. They were just easing along.
Oh, that's great. That sure worked out nice.
Oh, Lordy.
Super. It's
That is a
nice
good
deer,
Idaho buck, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Got a good main beam on him.
Yeah.
He's super heavy.
Almost a 10. He's a 9-pointer. He's a great buck. Well, I tell you what, the guys at camp are going to love to see him. Let me get my tag out, and if you'll go back and get the 4-wheeler, we'll get him all loaded up.
We'll do it, Jackie.
All right.
See you later.
In our final hunt, I'll take you from the buck's feeding area to the bedding area. You'll see the importance of scouting and wind direction on the successful hunt. I'm going to give you a tip today. It took me years to figure it out. I used to sit up there all year long, and I'd have a lot of luck in the early part of the season and then in the rut. But in the middle part, I didn't have any luck. But this tip right here, you'll be able to use all during the season. But most of all, you got to gain confidence in your scouting and your tree stand position. You're going to lose some visibility here, but the confidence that you gain on knowing where the deer bed and when they come out is going to help you get your buck. All right. Well, first of all, we're going to take the clover field here. We're going to walk the edge and find the major trail that's coming into the clover field and take it all the way back to the bedding area. Come on. Okay, folks, the first thing you got to do is to make sure, whether it's a clover field, agriculture, walk the edges and try to find the major trail coming into the field. Okay, looks like I found it right here. We're going through some canes right here, and we've got a big creek right over here. I know that for a fact because I've hunted it before. But here's the major trail. I'm going to take that trail, and I'm going to walk back and see if I can find the bedding area. Come on. See if I can get down here without busting my rear end. Kind of wet. Okay, now, this is what I'm looking for. And this is amazing, folks. Look at this right here. Look how steep this embankment is. And these deer are going all the way up this embankment. They also got another trail right over here, too. Look at that. You can see the fresh tracks in it. So this is my first step. Like I said, I go from the clover field, and I try to find the major trails into it. Now, what I need to do, I'm going to cross the creek and get on the other side and try to find out where this trail is going out. All right, folks, I'm on the other side of the creek now, and what I'm looking for here is the main trail to the green field. The green field is about 30 or 40 yards right to those canes right there. Now, this right here
is one of the main trails that goes down through the creek and up to the green field. And it's hard to believe that deer can go down this steep bankment all the way through that deep creek, but this is where they feel safe. All right, folks, now I found my bedding area. This is a clear cut. Now, it might be a different type of bedding area depending on what part of the country you're in, but this bedding area is about 300 yards from our clover field, and it provides three things, as far as I'm concerned, here locally. It provides cover, it provides food, and it provides water, and all three things will hold whitetails. Now, what I'm going to do here is when I get to a clear cut or a bedding area, I try to walk the whole edge of it to find where trails come together and come into this little strip of hardwoods leading to the clover field. And that way right there, it'll tell me where to put my tree stand, because that's most important. Come on, let's see if we can find some major trails intersecting. All right, folks, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for major trails that come together. Now, it might be hard for you at home to see this on television, but as you'll see right here, we have one trail coming through here. We have another major trail coming right here. And we have another major trail coming right here. And they all three intersect into one trail that leads through these hardwoods into the clover field. Now it's time to place your stand. My tree stand's on the right, and my cameraman, Pat, is right above me. Now, what I've done is I've made sure I put my stand up at least 25 or 30 feet so I can look way out into the clear cut. Remember, I'm trying to catch these deer feeding on the browse, honeysuckle, or whatever before they go to the clover field. And like I said, a lot of times they will not get to that clover field until after dark. So I'm gaining a lot of confidence in my scouting. Now, a lot of you out there, you don't have the confidence in your scouting. This way will give you confidence because I know three things here. I know where the clover field is, I know where the trails are, I know where the bedding area is. Now I found my intersecting trails out of the bedding area going to the clover field. So this is what I call the perfect tree. Now, wind, very, very important. I can only hunt this stand on a west or northwest wind. If I hunt this stand on a south or southeast wind, my wind will be blowing back into the bedding area, which is a big no-no as far as deer hunting is concerned. Okay. That's a little bit of my scouting. Hope I helped you a little bit. Like I said, use this depending on which part of the country you're in. All right, let's head on back to camp. And like I said, we're going to try to hunt this stand either this afternoon or tomorrow afternoon.
Not long after the doe comes out, a rack buck appears in the brush about 100 yards from Jackie.
All right, Alabama whitetail. What do we got here? 8-pointer. Yes, sir. Look at him. Boy, his tarsals are dark. A couple of weeks before the rut, I saw some scrapes in there, and he was rubbing some trees. You can see it right here on his antlers. But I tell you what, folks, this was a lot of fun because I did my scouting, I gained confidence in my scouting, and when I placed my tree stand, I had a real good feeling I'd get a shot at a good buck.
When you're hunting with Buckmasters, you're hunting tall. Something about the afternoon that's special in the air. Something about the time with Mother Nature that we share. Evening sky, edge of night. Today I've met